Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, let's thank God the Almighty who has given us the time so we can do our first kisah in this semester. Secondly, before we start our presentation, let us introduce ourselves. My name is Muhamad Ghufran Tripa.
Anggi Johanes Pardamean Siltonga.
We are from Group 7 and today we want to present our ISAS with the title is Business Process Management. Next. So there is our table of content. The first is definition of business process. The second is definition of business process management. The third is type of business process management. The fourth is the benefit and the deficiency of using business process management. The fifth is business process management architecture. The sixth is how business process management works. Next. The first, I'm gonna talk about definition of business process. A business process is a structure and interrelated set of work or activities to solve a problem or to produce a product or service. Business process can be broken down into several sub-processes, which are still processes that have their own attribute but also contribute to achieving a goal of sub-process. In business process analysis, generally involve a mapping of process and its sub-process to level of activity or activity. Next.
Definition of business process management. Business process management, BPM, as defined by Gartner, is a discipline that use various tools and methods to design, model, execute, monitor, and optimize business process. Next.
The next is the type of business process management. There is three types of business process management. There is human-centric, document-centric, and integration-centric. The first is human-centric. It is a type of business process management that is suitable for tasks and processes that are complete mostly or entirely by people. Most of this type of BPM have to do with decision making. While this cannot be automated, the notification and information gathering involved in this process can be done. The next is document-centric. As the name suggests, is used in a process that are based largely or entirely on paper or digital communication. For a large number of business, this is a primary mode of BPM, but some have a combination of several types. With document-centric, the goal is to provide relevant parties with the accurate and up-to-date documentation. The last is integration-centric. This type of BPM focus on streamlining the flow of information and data between disparate networks, people, and software. For business with more complex operation that have a combination of human-centric and data-centric process. This is especially important using integration and automation tools to reduce the amount of data that has to be entered by hand. This can create a more productive and efficient workforce. Next.
The benefit. One, reduce cost and higher preference. Two, improve business agility. Three, better visibility. Four, compliance, safety, and security. Five, higher efficiency. Deficiency. Planning is something too much. Two, planning tends to delay activities. Three, planning might limit management to initiative and innovation. For good results are obtained handling problem when a problem occurs. Next.
The next is the BPM architecture. In this section, I will explain one of the architecture of BPM, namely Process Center. Process Center is all the tools and interface for creating and managing this business process and server, whereas Process Center is a software component that runs a server where process designer, integration designer share asset, and where business process run. process center use the BPM repository to store business process definition and all associated assets using a SQL database with the default name is BPMDB for a common database. There is an additional database required for monitoring. This is called a performance database warehouse. The default name is PDWDB. In business process management, there will be interaction with the process center through the process designer, process center console, and process administration console. Process designer is a full function Eclipse-based application used to create and edit business process and manage the server environment. The process center console is a browser-based application that allows you to manage asset, server, and relationship, but doesn't have provide the ability to create and edit business process. The last is the process administration console is also a browser-based application that allow you to manage the server runtime features such as cache, variable, event, as well as user. Next.
How BPM works, how business process management works. In this subchapter, we will explain how business process management works. Reporting from Nexus Syntegra. Here, how it works. One, identify numerous process taking place in the various department. We need to identify it to define the direction of the project and areas that will make it up to qualify objective and characteristic of each process. It is because we will need to define the goal on the structure of the process business the additional requirements. The three classify process and manage it. Before the implementation business process management atau of BPM, we need to classify by the cost and magnitude in the order of priority. Fourth, choose process to test. We have to choose which process to test the when implementation business process management of BPM solution should be relatively simple to manage and with the moderate risk. 5. Select BPM software. We need in the order to make collaboration and communication, yes, and can define the workflow without hearing someone from the IT team. 6. Diagram for workflow. This make the process owner, yes, to improve the redundant text or start to see is it possible to do automation so we can keep the process a minimum. 7. Monitor and measure after implementation. BPM is built on a commitment to continuous improve. So we need to keep monitor, measure, and develop and strategy so that BPM can continuously improve and the company can expand BPM to the next stage. Next.
Maybe just that from us. We say sorry if there's a mistake. Thank you.
Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi
Waalaikumsalam
wabarakatuh.
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.